What is up, everybody? It's Overseer here today. So we're going to talk about this guy on Twitter who has stated that he says, why are people so afraid to say the PS5 has no games? And when he stated this, all chaos ensued. Like, people were pretty triggered by this comment right here. Then he says also, adding to this tweet, it seems like people are walking on eggshells every time the upcoming slate of PS5 games are discussed. Xbox fans didn't have the same treatment in 2016/2017. Just an observation. So yeah, as we all know it, the PS5 is pretty dry right now for exclusive gaming. Like, sure, they have multi-plats, but exclusive-wise, it's pretty dry. Like, we won't see any games until Horizon Forbidden West, and that is until February. So you got a few months the Xbox guys can brag about the amazing Xbox exclusives right now, and these Sony guys cannot handle it. I mean, it's kind of karma because they was talking so much trash about Xbox, so I guess it's karma, I guess. I don't know, but let's read some of these comments. He says, why do you expect people to lie? We got Demon Souls remake, Ratchet & Clank Earth Apart, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Returnal. The only game I see here is Returnal, and if you have played ReCore, you would see that you don't even need to play Returnal, lol. Even Demon Souls is a remake. Yeah, it's kind of a stretch how they just put Demon Souls as a new game when I played that game on PS3. It's the same game, just better graphics and like some quality of life features. It's the same game, so I don't get it. Whatever. Because PlayStation fanboys travel in packs, many can't take the dog piling of toxicity they will invite. Literally never played a single PlayStation game. So this person says, what the F is the logic to this question? More than 4 times the first-party titles have released on PS5 in 12 months, and just as many third-party titles. So how are there no games on PS5? Unless he's talking about like all the director's cuts and like the PS4 games that got DLC added to them. I mean, it ain't been too much right now. You know what's annoying? Xbox has had no exclusives since Xbox Series X released until now. One game. He's definitely disqualified a lot of games. It's only one game released, and that was Forza Horizon 5. But like, so many games have released since then. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. PlayStation had a few. Somehow PlayStation is losing this war because it has nothing releasing for Xmas. But Xbox was winning the past year with the same result and about 50% less system sales. I mean, the biggest games right now people are talking about are Xbox titles, so it kind of is. People are rocking with Xbox right now. People are talking about Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite like crazy now. That's all the media is talking about right now, gaming-wise. I don't know what they're talking about for PlayStation-wise. I don't think they're talking about anything right now. Don't know, the 5 is definitely in a drought right now, but it'll be back strong in 22. It'll be back strong next year. Don't worry about this year. It'll be strong next year. With what, 2 games? The only game I know that he could be referring to is Horizon Forbidden West and God of War, which we don't know where the release date for God of War is because of the guy's a medical situation, who's a voice actor, who's an actor of Kratos. So we don't know when that game is coming out, but we at least know Horizon Forbidden West is coming out in February. So kind of dry for next year too, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what else is coming out for. I'm trying to think what else is coming out for PS4. I can't think off the top of my head, but looking pretty dry as well for that year too. For the same reason that everyone is afraid to admit that these 2 consoles were released too early, and that's the reason there's next to no games and everything Xbox has going on it, just as sad as it's going to be for PlayStation 5. It's all about the money, not the experience. Too early. Since the launch of Xbox Series consoles a year ago, I have played and finished more games than the whole past generation on PS4 and Xbox One combined. If you complain about the lack of games, maybe you need to jump to Game Pass. Yeah. There's so many games right now. I don't know how people even have enough time to finish all these games right now. Because the PS5 crowd said it for years till it happened to them. The irony. Why are people so afraid to enter a room and simply announce that they're going to be disingenuous for a wildly biased audience that seems tilted by fanboys and console nonsense on a daily basis? You really think November or December equals all 2021, don't you? They've been in cryo sleep since launch of 2020 and just woke up for Forza Horizon 5 and a time for Halo Infinite with the last 2 months of 2021. Goes against the 7-year narrative. I still see people saying Xbox has no games. Can you even say that at this point anymore? It's like the narrative has flipped. You can't say Xbox has no games. Now the new narrative is PlayStation has no games. Even if they don't, major game focused media outlets like G4 TV have begun to say it. What is this? This is from G4 TV.
You should have Game Pass. I think people over the years, once we finally get Elder Scrolls 6, might figure that out. QBH?
I don't think it was going to come to the PS5, and Lord knows the PS5 needs some games. Outside of
Whoa, shots fired. Jeez.
See, all four of us are in unanimity.
Jeez. They ain't holding back. This is the new G4 TV. They ain't throwing shots and say PS5 has no games, which is true. It's the truest statement right there. They have no games right now. It is like people are just playing multiplayer on PS5 right now. I mean, well, is that really shocking? When you look at the top most played games on PS5, it is like multiplayer anyway. So I guess it's nothing really new. They're not really playing exclusives like that anyway. It really has had nothing to offer since launch other than Ratchet and Clank. I mean, if you choose to ignore the other games that also came out, then sure. I can't believe people are agreeing with them. It is true. I gave my PS5 to a friend since there was nothing on there for me to play anymore. I already beat Ratchet and Clank, and now I'm passing it around. And you can't beat Ratchet and Clank for like the 10th time and not get bored of it, man. It's like how many times they want people to play Ratchet and Clank over and over again. They would face truth. They would never let this happen. You can say the PS5 only has 4 games if you want to be pedantic, but every game released in 2020, 2021 that also released on PS4 has massive benefits on PS5. You get DualSense options of quality performance mode and super fast load, and everyone with a PS5 will buy that version. Years of indoctrination. Yeah, that Xbox has no games, but then it flipped on them, and now they can't handle it. Because it doesn't fit the narrative. Because PS5 has more exclusives, overall amount of games, and more games on PS Now, so it's factually incorrect. So now we're counting the multiplats now. Did they say? But I thought what Xbox guys tried to count the multiplats, it didn't count. It only the exclusives matter. But now the PlayStation 5 exclusives aren't looking so. It doesn't look so plentiful right now. It's a problem. Okay. I'm not. Hashtag PS5 has no games. Laughing emoji. I mean, if you are an Xbox gamer, you can talk crap now because there's been so much talk, so much trash talk about Xbox, especially Xbox One generation, about how there's a wide amount of exclusives. But now that narrative has turned, and it is pretty hilarious. PS5 has no games for the rest of the year, but 2022 should be good. So next year, look out for 2022 for PS5 games. Because it's not the truth. The majority of players don't actually play Twitter. They mostly play third-party titles. Exclusive is a very small piece of that pie. Xbox guys is with us for the longest, but apparently it only matters now that the PS5 is on the short end of this exclusive war stick. Okay. That mostly Twitter warriors in both camps worry about. Time to play games. People give your Twitter breathing room. Let's see. I don't notice anyone scared of saying this, to be honest. Some people seem to be walking on eggshells, like the guy said, to say the PS5 has no games. They're bigging up like Call of Duty. I've been saying this a lot lately. People bigging up like Call of Duty Vanguard and Battlefield 2042. It's like PlayStation guys are bigging up those games now instead of any PlayStation exclusives, but it makes sense now. There is always something to play. I mean, technically there is always something to play, but these Sony guys only want to talk about the exclusives, and when the exclusives are not in their favor right now, they want to big up these multiplats, so that's quite interesting. Because the truth hurts, but I've been saying it all day. PlayStation has no games. So if 1 million of gamers get a PS5 this Xmas, you're saying they have access to 0 games? Also, why was it okay for Xbox to have no games for a year? Okay, so you can say the same thing for someone who buys an Xbox. You can say that, hey, there was no games, but now since they just buy, they can buy these exclusives. So these narratives, there's so many goalposts moving with these PlayStation guys. They just can't handle it. The people can rub it in their face that the PlayStation 5 is dropped for exclusives right now. The PS5 has had exclusives since launch. Xbox Series X had a Flight Simulator. It came out in July 27, 2021. 9 months after the system was released, you're brainwashed. There'll be a 7-month gap between first-party games on PS5. There was a wait of over 2 years on Xbox. Do you see the difference? The point is, Xbox had no games for a longer amount of time, but it's still currently the fact that PS5 currently has no games. Why are Xbox so afraid to admit that they are lying? Because they were the same people who made fun of Xbox for having no games. Hypocritically, immaturity and a lack of humility is why they're afraid. Yeah, definitely agree with this first half right here. It's the difference between Xbox and PlayStation fans from what I can tell. Because people are afraid to look dumb, ask about something that is wrong. Because it has games, so does Xbox. All the consoles have games. Okay, from a technical point, sure, all consoles have games, but people are talking about the exclusive games. That's when they say, that's what the big thing people say Xbox has no games. It's obviously it always had games coming to the system, but it had no exclusive games. So that was what people were talking about. Because it wouldn't be true. There are plenty of PS5 games with even more to come. We have only seen a taste of what the PS5 can do. Plus, it has a massive PS4 library of games. So now we got to count last-gen games now. This is crazy because this is the system that people were just bragging about the exclusives that was on the system. Now they can't even brag about the exclusives anymore. Now they have to reach for PS4 last generation games, which they always said Xbox guys were doing. So it is funny how this generation, the narratives have completely switched around. That's interesting. What do you people expect? Why do you expect people to lie? And trust me, PlayStation has more games than Xbox. Xbox has 3 games so far. PS5 has more games than the PS4 did in its first year. Really though? I mean, you're counting like director's cuts or PS4 games. That's like, that don't really count. Or a remake of a PS3 game. Like they're padding that list so much because they don't want to face that reality. The PS5 don't have too many games out for it. And if you do beat the games that came out the first year, like Miles Morales, when you had the PS5 when it first came out, it's like you don't really have too much to play right now, exclusive wise, to be honest. Let's read some of the quote tweets. They might be more interesting. Let's see. They're not afraid. Saying PS5 has no games is just a blatantly false statement. Because it has games, you cunt. I hate to be Captain Obvious, but there was a reason no one says PS5 has no games. It has games. Because I'm sure Phil wants to buy that joke as an Xbox exclusive. Why are Xbox so adamant that 2 games since launch is a win? Anyone agreeing to a delusional ass take like this needs to be blocked, shaking my head. So now they're just blocking people now who state that. Because they're afraid to have people with memories that date back further than November 2021 clown them. Yeah. Because people aren't a bunch of liars like Xboners. Enjoy the next few weeks enjoy the next few weeks while you can, then crawl back under the rock you came from until the following November. The F your sin. Okay. Another person with Xbox in their name is talking. You expect Sony to push their devs to limit and release an unfinished game just to have something for the holidays. Also, COVID has added an extra layer of complications. Oh, the COVID excuse now. Okay. I love Xbox, but bruh, PlayStation has some fire games as well with Xbox. So I don't know where you pull this S out of your ass from. Let's see. Because they know they sound dumb. Further evidence people who haven't developed properly by Xbox. What? I don't know. Why are you afraid, clown? Because the pony's narrative of Xbox got no games when we flip back on them. I honestly think this is the reason why, because they push this narrative for so long that Xbox has no games. They don't want to be pushed back on them because it's going to make them look silly. It's going to make them look foolish at the end of the day. Because it is not true. Why are bots so delusional? They finally get one game after a year and think they're running S now. Xbox has been on last place since the first one. Really? That 360 generation was putting some people on their toes. It was like people were shaking during that 360 generation. and this Xbox Series generation is definitely reminiscent of that 360 generation right now. You got people playing Halo Infinite who hasn't played Halo Infinite since the 360 generation back on Halo Infinite. That's how big that game is doing right now. And Forza Horizon 5 is the biggest it's ever been. So I don't know. People say that this competition is definitely being brought by the Xbox generation. I could definitely see it that way. Because it's a lie. Everyone has backlog on PS5. We never start running out of games to play. Facepalm. Well, because some people understand that saying something that's undeniably false will make them look pretty foolish. Of course, that's not an issue for bots, as we see a perfect example of right here. Let's see, how long is this? So I'm going to conclude it right here. This is way too long. But yeah, this is just funny. He made this statement that PS5 has no games. Very reminiscent of when PlayStation guy says Xbox has no games. And all chaos just ensues. So yeah, you can read the rest of your own. Definitely see your thoughts down below about this. Leave a like if you like this video. And as always, thanks for watching and peace.